I guess today it was called mitigating the human risk, but what I mentally labelled it was social engineering as dead. Because what really I was talking about today was that there was the evolution of social engineering, the fact that the psychology of it, the way that a hack is orchestrated has moved on and is so much more sophisticated than what people think it is. So people think it's a phishing attack or a phone call. And as I said in the presentation, I can't throw a USB stick in the air these days without hitting a social engineer, but they're not really social engineers. What it is a technical person who's learned to pick up a phone. So what today was about was how the evolution has kind of made it much more sinister than that, and really about the psychology of getting behind what motivates and frightens people and using that on a company level and on an individual level to really get past. What I said was there's a vicious circle. In the same way that the tech got better, so the security got better, so the hackers got more clever. I don't know why people don't understand that from the people point of view, the exact same thing happened. People got wise to the people hacking, and so the people hackers got wiser. 5 years ago when we were talking about social engineering, we were very much talking about broad brush attacks, not so much spear phishing, but just phishing attacks. I would now say that I would be looking at more using, because psychology is quite a young science anyway, so using the latest psychological methods, things like influence and persuasion, in some ways ancient things, but the research at the moment is very recent, very current, about what makes people tick and about how to use linguistics and psychology to get people to really crumble in the face of an attack, as opposed to kind of just casting that net out with, a cookie cutter template social engineering hack and seeing what comes back really specifically, and kind of meaner and more disciplined hacks on people. Company culture helps to dictate the type of hack that'll get through. And what I said was, and I knew there was maybe perhaps a bit of a taking a chance saying it, but in that sense, companies get the hack they deserve. They invite the hacker. The single biggest problem I see in information security today is the fact that a lot of information security professionals still see technical and people side as two separate things, and until the security side of business puts the two together and realises that every single thing that they do needs to have people at its heart. Every technical fix that they use or put together has to have people at the heart of it. Then we will never you'll always have a huge open door at the back of the castle. Your fortress is wide open because you just cannot see that people are easier to hack than tech. So put the two together and recognise the people at the heart of those technical problems, and that'll solve your problems overnight. I think most companies have real issues with employee engagement. I don't think they make the right connections. To show people that it's as much about their personal security as it is about an organisation's security. So I do still see gaps. I also see worrying sense of sort of overconfidence, that people think that they'd spot a phishing email or that they'd spot like a caller on the phone. And as I say, we go for a much more sophisticated approach than what they're expecting, and in that lies the danger. Two dangers. Danger that they get what they expect, so they don't suspect it, but also there's danger in arrogance. And what I see at board level is people who think they're covered, and I'll have you. If you think you're covered, I'll be in. The problem is the awareness programs and you need staff to be connected to it over time. Anything that becomes too familiar, anything that's just a click or a tick in a box, stops working after a while. So what we do in our business, we use all the techniques I'd use to get past a company, all those psychological techniques that we use to get in. We use them in our training to make sure they can't forget. You have to get people properly, not just listening to something and not just watching something. They have to be engaged in a task. And the way to get people really to understand what they're doing and to sort of to keep is to get them to pass on the message. If you get them to pass on a message, they take responsibility for it, and in that you get ongoing engagement, but it's a difficult thing to do. You can't just ask them. You have to ask them in a certain way. If you see yourself as an advocate, it's like being an ex-smoker. An ex-smoker is the biggest advocate for not smoking. You have to get people to be an advocate for the cause, and then they'll spread it themselves.